Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Talkin Townball. In today's episode, we're rolling out the red carpet for Hutchinson Huskies manager and newly appointed Region 6B Commissioner Mike Kutter. We'll be discussing MLB Opening Day, the 2025 state tournament, and a slew of other exciting topics. So let's light this Townball campfire, crack open a big friendly, and pair it with an ambassador hot dog. It's time to talk Townball.
Under those stars where the heart beats strong, Minnesota diamonds where we all belong. Cheering voices carrying through the night, the soul of the state under stadium lights.
All right, it is Wednesday, April 2nd here, episode 4 of Talkin Townball. We do have our special guest in studio. We're going to do a little different show tonight. I'm going to start this by saying our guest is from Hutchinson, and Kyle Mesner declined us. Mike Cobo didn't call me back.
Typical.
Clancy Kurth had no idea what a podcast was, so we had to settle with the Huskies manager, Mike Kutter.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me. It's great to be here.
And so Mike is going to join us actually for just about the entire show, I think. So he's just going to be part of our normal roundtable discussion. Then we are going to fire some questions at him about state tournament, the new district, and maybe a couple of other things. But first, we're going to start off with looking at the waiver wire. One I noticed was a Jack Waletich, and Twitter can correct me if I said it wrong, but he was released by West Tonka and signed by Young America. Now, he is a former Mankato State player, so that is a pretty big pickup for Young America, who they're going to be in our district Crow River Valley League team. And then they also, though, Young America released Nick Frank, but I have to give him a big congratulations and a shout-out. He is one of our Crow River Valley League commissioners, and he is taking over the Norwood Indians. And Norwood, they folded years back, and then they brought the team back not too long ago. So really good to see a guy like Nick with all his organizational skills taking over Norwood, because they're definitely a historic team, and they need somebody in charge with those type of organizational skills.
Right. Do you know, did he have a connection to that squad previously?
So Young America and Norwood used to be two towns.
Of course.
But now they are one town. It used to be Norwood, It used to be Norwood and Young America. Now the whole area is called Norwood, Young America. But there's two ballparks. One is where Norwood originally was, and one is where Young America was. So they're all Norwood, Young America people.
Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect. That clarifies a lot.
Yeah.
It absolutely does. And going back to that first signee, what sort of position, what sort of impact will he have?
I know he's a pretty good hitter. So when West Tonka became a team a few years ago, their big, I don't want to use the word issue, but the question was what league were they going to try to be in? They wanted to be in the Crow River Valley League, but they had a lot of players from pretty high-level college teams living in the West Metro that they wanted to put together and become a C team. And we love our points. We love talking about points. And that's about the time the points really started to be a big topic, and the state board really started to use them. So because of their points, they were like, well, you're more like a B team, not really a C team. So they had to do a couple things to their roster to make sure they've been C recently. And I know he was, one of the players that wasn't originally a Mound West Tonka guy that they had picked up when they first started that team up again a few years ago.
Yeah. So the story with West Tonka, did they start with an independent schedule? I know that there was a little bit of a battle to get them into a league. Did they play independent and then have to play B?
Or were they like assigned
Were they forced
a section or something?
Yeah,
too?
I thought that's what happened. Was that
They-
they eventually got placed?
They got placed
gotcha.
right in the Crow River Valley. They tried to get in. They got voted no. I know the Crow River Valley League team had said no to actually Norwood because Norwood tried to come back after they had folded a few years ago. And the Crow River Valley League told Norwood, no, you need to play an independent schedule. Prove to us that you can play all of your games and finish the season,
Yeah.
and then we'll let you in. So
that's
they said
big.
the same thing to West Tonka at the same exact meeting. West Tonka wanted to get in the North Star League. They never showed up to any of our meetings.
Correct.
And then the state board placed them in the Crow River Valley League. Then they got popped for contracts, whatever. So they weren't even eligible for the playoffs that year.
So this new signing by Young America, Mankato guy, that's we think we know how the points work. That's 3, right? Division II guy, that's 3 points.
That would be 3. Yeah, and I don't know who Young America is, maybe losing, retiring,
Right.
or what they're going to look like. I know they were about 33, 34 at the end of the season. So
Okay. And they're currently B, so.
In Young America, looking at projected rosters, however you want to look at it, would you say that they're going to be a top 3, top 4 team in that CRVLB?
Oh, easily. They're definitely one of the favorites for sure. They're probably one of the favorites for Class B. I mean,
Sure.
They're in the state semifinals last year. I believe they lost to Jordan to go to the state championship game.
Sure. Okay. Yeah. Well, then the rich get richer, I guess. Right. That'll be interesting to track. It's in. We haven't heard about any of these Delano signings. Kind of keeping quiet over there.
They haven't played a game yet. I don't tell you.
Nobody knows.
They haven't. They
It's
have
unproven.
never played a game of Townball. So
That's true. Great point. So is that what we've got then on our waiver wire news? for
that's
this week?
about the only thing that really jumped out at me. I saw some teams. Maybe it's the Rainy River, Rainy Lake released a bunch of guys. I think they might have been one of the teams that folded. Not 100% sure.
Yeah, that.
Did they fold before they even got started?
Oh, I don't know.
Okay.
I,
maybe.
I don't know because that seems like a brand. That seemed like a brand new team to me. So I guess I don't exactly know.
Sure.
Maybe it just didn't hash out. But that tracker on the NBA site's pretty sweet because we
It
can
is.
see who's getting signed, who's
Yes.
getting released. Do we? And I mean, our Twitter crowd probably knows. They might have some hot tips for us too. So if you know of guys getting signed or whatever,
Yeah. Hop in our DMs if something's controversial. We'll cover it. you know.
Well, and just another heads up. We're in April now, and April 11th state board meeting, and then I saw games already on April 12th. Some teams have posted on the state website that they're playing. So
bundle up, wear a
I don't know
jacket.
about next
Yeah.
episode, but maybe the one after that, if we make it that long, if our boss lets us continue recording, we might have games to talk about here soon.
Oh boy, that's exciting. I want to do a quick callback. I know I used Cal Volinkity as sort of like a he was almost like a victim of the point system. He's a former Litchfield Blue that had moved down to the St. Michael area, wanted to play with the Rockford, wanted to get back into the North Star League, and Rockford had to decline, and he is now signed with the Anglers of Albertville. So that is kind of the putting a bow on that story to wrap that up.
yeah.
So the Anglers, hey, good signing. Cal's a good kid.
Cal's a good dude. He's a fun guy, a fun teammate. I would think, John.
Yeah, I mean he's not. He'll maybe give you one inning and then you just gotta ice the hell out of that arm. But he's a good guy to have around. And unfortunately, we couldn't get him back in the North Star League. But yeah, he'll have a good summer in Albertville.
Well, I mean, we hit the waiver wire. We should probably tend to our special guest here. We got to get into some fun Hutchinson stuff from Mike Kutter. So I don't know. We just kick the interview off right now. Go for it.
Go
Jump
for it, Jordan.
right
Yep.
into it.
All right.
Here we go.
Starting off hot here. So I'm sure that the people of Glencoe and Brownton and Gaylord, they're making improvements on their already great parks. But we're here with you, the man himself from Hutchinson. So tell us what's happening at Veterans Memorial Field.
Well, the grandstand is up. It is completed. there is some mechanical things such as we got to get the speaker set up, wiring, things like that, and just do some kind of landscaping around that general area that's going to be behind the grandstand and kind of the entryway into the park area. There's some new concrete back there, and there's going to be, we got to reposition some of those monuments we had for state board member, Hall of Fame state people, North Star League state people, that we need to just kind of reposition and figure out where those cosmetic things are going to go. Field, the playing surface itself will be fine. We have a great groundskeeper. He does fantastic work all season. And we're just there's just some grassy areas that need to be regrown in after a little mishap last summer. But
Sure. Well, all normal things I think most parks have to deal with. But
Yeah.
it sounds like you guys are really making a run at some sweet improvements.
yeah, the lights, I'm excited. I was able to go down there last fall when the lights went in, and there was somebody from the lighting company was measuring, I think they're called foot candles.
Yeah. Yep.
And had his iPad out there, and they were fantastic.
Nice.
It was a great night, and we just kind of walked around for about 20 minutes and got a view, and they're bright, and they're going to be great.
Nice. They're LED, right?
Correct.
Is that cool. So
Yeah.
you've got the down facing, up facing,
Yes.
all the.
They don't take 20 minutes to heat up.
Oh, God.
They're on.
Yeah, it's like flipping a light switch.
Yeah, it's great.
Must be nice.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So-
No, I was gonna say the at that All-Star game last year in Waconia, we were treated to like the 7th inning stretch where they had a light show. I mean, is that kind of along the line of the same capability that you're working with? I mean, I don't know.
I think we could do it. I don't know if we're going to. I think it's one of those, hey, do you want the software for an extra
sure.
X amount of dollars type
Right.
deal?
Right.
But
You need a well-lit field to play games under first and
right,
foremost.
just let's
so.
let's get that out of the way first.
So you know who does have the colorful lights now, though?
Who's that?
Buffalo.
Oh.
What?
Oh.
Yeah.
I
Does
didn't
the-
know about this.
I
Has
also
older
did
guy
not
said
know.
anything about the light show?
Boy.
I don't think he has, and
have to figure that out
we're
from
gonna
the older
have
guy.
to-
For our uninformed audience, older guy John Early, from now living in Buffalo, originally from Litchfield, so a lot of ties there. But if you ever hear us mention the older guy, that's John
That's
Early.
him.
So, Mike, did you host, was it 2016 or 17 is the last time you hosted?
16.
Okay, so if you haven't been to Hutch since 2016, though, that was back when you had Ivy.
Correct.
And so outfield will look totally different for anybody who's like, hey, I just go to the state tournament, or I'm from a different part of the state and I haven't been to Hutch's. So what's actually been new, in the last 9 years?
Well, leading up to 16, we had the new kind of, I guess you could say, rock retaining wall along the edges there. That's new. The ivy came down, I believe it was 21 is when we kind of took that down. And then we replaced it with new fencing and then advertising. So we have our advertising banners draped all over the outfield wall, outfield fence. And not having the ivy, I think it's been fine. I don't think people really miss it. Maintenance wise, how much work that can be. And in a wet year, that ivy doesn't come in because it needs the heat. So like last year, it wouldn't have been a great year, especially at the beginning. So it's fine not having it. I think we're all probably a little bit better off, but it was a unique feature, obviously, we had for a long time there.
Now you, we had is it about a 3-year head start when you're given the that green light? Like, yes, you've earned that state tournament. How long? When was that announced?
22, I believe.
22.
Yeah.
Didn't they group 5 years together and they
Yeah.
just
Yes.
went boom?
Yeah.
This is how it's going to be.
So because it was us, were you part of that? Was Delano? No.
Nope.
That was
No.
a different process.
Year after us.
So they took everybody for the 100th tournament, all those bids, and then after it was awarded to us, then they said, all right, anybody can come back, and we'll go from 2024 through, I think,
Yeah.
28.
It used to be
5 years.
Well, it used to be you could host there would had to be a 10-year gap, I believe, and now it's a 5-year
Yeah.
gap. So if you're a state tournament host in 2025, you can host again in 2030.
Yeah, I think there's some gray area because Waconia technically hosted 3 years in a row.
Well, now that we have the fourth site in
Yeah.
the
There
fold,
has to be.
and which yes, there does have to be a fourth site now with the number of games, and maybe that's different now, I guess, with the different format. But it's so good to have an extra site to help out, especially with, you might get rain.
You might get floods.
You might get floods. Something could happen on your field. You name it. Having that extra site is just it's a blessing.
And it's
for
good
the
it's nice
hosts.
I think we had John Garrett's on a couple episodes ago, and he mentioned Glencoe is that fourth site.
Correct.
Okay. So you've got Glencoe in the fold there, Gaylord, and you've got Broughton. So is it like a monthly thing? How often are you guys seeing each other? Is it kind of ramping up as you get close to the season?
It's ramping up. We're I believe this coming week we are going to be in the process of just kind of getting things put together because there are high school games that will start. I think their first game is the home game is the 10th, maybe.
Okay.
So yeah, we're in that process of just kind of getting the park put back together, and it'll be throughout the summer, adding things and fixing up things. There's going to be just one of the garages is going to get redone on the exterior and just touch up some paint and all the things that you need to do by the time that first weekend in August comes around for the state tournament. But it's going to be an ongoing thing, and I mean, all of us here have kind of been through that. You know what it's like. It's a busy summer, and you just kind of we're all kind of preparing for that and talking and getting things taken care of the way we need to.
Right. Can you? I don't know if you know it offhand, but in terms of experience of these other sites, say like when was the last time Brownton and Gaylord were involved at a state tournament level?
I don't. Gaylord might be 09.
Gaylord was 09, yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then Glencoe was 11.
2011 with Broughton.
Yep. And Broughton helped us out obviously in 16 when we had the flooding issues, because we were with Dassel.
Yep. It was
And
us
Litch.
and Litch.
Right.
Correct.
Okay. And then we called on Broughton for a weekend to get us through the flooding stages. So there's enough experience there between everybody. I'm not familiar with a lot of the people from Gaylord. That's kind of been Kyle Messer has been our kind of site person, tournament person for Hutchinson, and he meets regularly with the people from Broughton and Gaylord and kind of working through them, and he communicates with the rest of us.
Well, I'm sure you'll get to know them well by the time the process is done. I mean, for Ryan and John and I, we've always been friends, but through the process of hosting the state tournament, and Ryan, you I think on our last episode had mentioned this, or every episode maybe, I don't know, but that's kind of how this whole thing came together. So,
Right.
Well, speaking of something I mention on every episode,
oh yeah, let's hear it.
I have some breaking news to go with this.
Okay.
I have a source.
Fantastic.
I'm not going to tell you who my source is, but somebody kind of hinted that they might know when the state championship games are, and I'm going to announce it on the podcast.
This is breaking. Do we have like a breaking news sounder? I don't even know if we do. Do you want to hit a button on that thing and just see what happens?
We'll see if it works.
Okay, that's.
Oh, it's applause. All right, yeah.
All right, so I have the Class A state championship will be Sunday at noon in Gaylord.
Okay.
I have the Class C state championship game Sunday at 7:30 in Brownton. Ooh. There'll be 2 semifinal games in Brownton leading up to it, so you got to win 2 that day.
Wow.
I'm looking at you, John, the 2025 state champion
okay.
Litchfield Blues in Class C.
Ridiculous, but yes, keep going. It benefits everyone to know this. So yes,
absurd,
just
but I love it.
continue to go.
Class B state championship Monday at 1 o'clock, Labor Day at Hutchinson.
All right.
The B championship.
Love the sound of
Nice.
that. Love the
Yeah.
sound of that.
Get
That's
to
huge.
Wrap it up at your park. That's awesome.
Yeah, and hopefully love to be a part of it. We just got to get there. But
Absolutely.
I think that's the carrot, and I think any team that you guys have all been a part of that, and how much you want to get in front of your home crowd to do that. And I go back to 2016. That was a blast. That team made a great run. We were able to play our quarterfinal and semifinal at home, and obviously came up short. But I mean, the crowds there were great, and just people on top of people, and sides were full, bleachers were full. That's what you need.
That's really cool. Yeah, it's always interesting. You go into a year like a state site year just motivates everybody, top to bottom, from the board to the players to, I mean, everybody gets a boost, and there's that extra motivation. I think about it too, even in 2023 when we hosted. Boy, we had knocked on the door, for a couple years, and it just it hurt to not get in, but it's an opportunity. I know, Ryan, you guys in Delano were able to play 4 home games?
We played 3
in 2023.
Yeah, I played 3.
Just a awesome experience for that crew, and kind of a cool reward for working your butt off to put the field in position to be where it is, and just an exciting time for everybody involved. So, yeah, definitely good luck on getting there. That would be fun, and obviously the crowd sizes are going to benefit. I don't know. It's funny. The state board will ask you every once in a while, what's your most, like, what can you put? What's your cap on people in the stadium? It's like, how do you put a number on that? Because when the championship was in Delano, when you've got Maple Lake versus, and I go back to that game just because it's more familiar to me, but there are people crawling in the bullpens. I mean, there are bodies on bodies everywhere.
Yeah, that was Maple Lake, Bird Island, and I almost go back to the All-Star game we hosted the first time we did that. I'm maybe more for the All-Star game when we
Really?
did Crow in North Star League. That was part of the 4th of July celebration, so everything was free, so just at any given time, I think we were flirting with 2,000.
Yeah, you might say like max occupancy might be 1,500, but if you start pushing and shoving and getting spots filled, you might put 2,000 in a park.
And like if you have seating areas, your grandstand, or if you have seating on the side, about how many people those would hold. But how do you account for standing room only if that's a thing at Townball Park? I mean, and opening up the bullpens, because we're fitting as many people as we want in here.
Hutchinson's unique because when you go down the first and third base line, you almost have like a retaining wall, correct?
Correct.
There's no fence to lean on. You can't sit off that retaining wall.
You can't hang your legs on the retaining wall.
It's a little bit different where you're either sitting or laying down or you're a part of that seating.
Yeah.
Is there an approach? Are you going to bring in more temporary seating?
We'll bring in temporary seating, especially down the right field side, especially because off to the first base dugout. And we did that in the past too. And so then the left field side on the third base dugout, there's obviously less space there because we have the buildings and there's just not as much room. We will probably bring in another set of bleachers there as well. Mm-hmm. I think we got to figure out the logistics on that and size, and but that's great for just regular season home games because there's kids that can go run around, and there's people bring blankets and chairs and hang out. So it's a good space, and we just want to hopefully that's full every weekend that we have games.
Absolutely.
Well, before we get to the state tournament, we got to get through districts, and you are the new district commissioner. Is it District 6?
6.
District 6B. So my first question is, how did the campaigning go for running for that position, or how did that happen for you?
I would say it was more appointee default. If you want to say that.
You didn't have yard signs all over Hutch?
I didn't have any sandwich boards available to campaign.
Before you jump into it, let's talk quick. The teams that make up this new 6B, that half North Star League that's B.
Yep.
And then you've got the CVL, the B CVL teams.
Correct. We have the Cold Spring Rockies, Watkins Clippers, and Kimball Express, and then from Stearns County, St. Martin.
Oh, St. Martin is in that too.
Correct.
Okay.
Were they were the one odd team out, right? In
Yeah.
Stearns County, that's B.
Kind of a unique situation there. Again, a points thing where as like you said, they're the odd team out from their league because I believe everybody else in that league is a C team. Mm-hmm. So they were placed with us, and we had a good meeting back in November. We all met in Kimball and just talked about things, talked about format, how we want to do that, and just kind of a general meet and greet. Here's what we're looking at. Here's dates, what the calendar would look like, and then I just said, "Does anybody want to be commissioner?" And a couple guys looked at me and said, "You'd be great at it. Why don't you take it?"
You shouldn't have spoke up.
Your pants are on straight. You
Yeah.
can obviously dress yourself.
You brought sheets of paper and a pencil, so
This guy is ready for the job.
He might be overqualified.
So we had a good meeting, and we're going to meet again here soon just to kind of iron out a few details. And Watkins is going to be the host of the district when we narrow it down to the 8 teams.
Kind of cool, interesting little thing there too. Litchfield will be hosting the 6C the same time Watkins is hosting 6B. So about, 10 miles between our two regions, and a lot of carryover, a lot of history between the two levels, obviously. So we're hoping that, there will be some fans hoping to catch both sides of the
Some
the coin there.
retweeting maybe of
Retweeting.
scores
Could definitely
and
yes.
game times. That would be beneficial, I think.
If you are a fan of Townball, you can catch a lot of baseball during those couple weekends.
From 11 a.m. to 10 o'clock at night, you can race back however many times. We'll get you in the ballpark.
We'll
Watch a
stamp
lot.
you.
There's-
You can re-enter.
Probably some interesting little back roads, I would imagine.
There are.
between the
I
two
mean,
towns.
definitely try to keep it under 100
Right.
between the towns. We don't
There's a few
need
lakes
any-
out there you got to be
There's
careful
some
of.
cows that
Yeah.
might be out on the road, so just be careful for that. But kind of a unique opportunity. I would like to. I wonder if there's any regions. I mean, the CRVL, your C and B aren't too far.
We're going Watertown and New Germany.
Okay.
Yeah, New Germany and
Do
Watertown.
you know the distance between those two?
I don't think it's 10.
Don't think it's
7 to 8 maybe. I mean, New Germany's right off of Highway 7, and Watertown's just a couple miles north of Highway 7.
So again, you can catch a ton
Yeah,
of
unique
baseball.
opportunities, and I would say like this, it might not happen again. next year this could be, you could be in Cold Spring, and we could be in, Howard Lake or something.
Yeah.
It could be a much bigger difference in mileage there. So kind of a fun year to get out and watch in person for sure.
Kendall Kubash will be very excited.
Oh,
Kendall
man. He'll be a
Kubash.
busy
yeah,
guy.
yeah.
He'll be on the road. He'll just be constantly interviewing left and right.
Yeah,
He won't just
yeah.
mics in people's faces.
And
everywhere.
for those who don't know, that's Kendall with KRWC Radio for Wright County AM 1360. They get a free plug.
Free
you go.
plug.
Fleet-
The next one does cost a lot of money, so just
So interesting kind of setup for teams in the district, and I do have to throw out St. Martin because that's the part of this whole point system, teams A, B, and C. That's St. Martin as a B team to me is that's out there. That's a little out there. I mean, and I understand that there's a point system, but we'll talk that many other times because there's plenty of key points and interesting little angles to how some of these teams get bumped up and where their players are living, and could their players even play for anybody else? With the 30-mile radius, especially up north, and we're an up north podcast. But anyway, and the other thing I noticed, the teams you rattled off, and then the teams that are in the North Star League that are B, who's actually the closest B team to Hutchinson?
Probably Maple Lake.
How about just closest B team?
Oh,
in the
in
state?
general.
Yeah.
In general. Probably be not Norwood, Young America, excuse me.
Probably Plato.
Plato would be closer,
So
correct?
Plato
yes.
and Young America probably are closer than
Yes,
Maple Lake.
Plato's
so-
probably 15, 17 miles, something like that. So yeah, that's probably you're
Okay.
right. That's probably the closest B team.
So you're getting down to an 8-team bracket, is my guess. You said, you know, are you playing all those other teams that are in the St. Martin and then the Central Valley teams at all this year?
We have two of them. We have Watkins and Cold Spring Rockies on our schedule.
And does that count for?
Yes.
Okay.
Those count towards your 4 games of eligibility, and yes, so you get in. That's and then if you get those 2 games plus 2 regular league games, you're good.
Does it count for your
Seeding.
seeding?
Yes, because that was part of our discussion that we had back in November was, can we use that in play? And we all agreed that some format of that will be counted towards how we stack up against each other.
So is everyone playing teams from the other league then?
I don't know if everybody is. I made an effort to try to do that, and
Gotcha.
it didn't work out with everybody. It didn't work out with Kimball, and it didn't work out with St. Martin. But we offer that. If you can try to get us, great. Part of it's travel because those teams would have to go east or west, quite a ways depending on which direction you're coming from. We're in a pretty good spot in terms of distance. I mean, Watkins is about 40 minutes, and Cold Springs maybe an hour, but that's. I think it's good to see those teams from our benefit and theirs too. And you just got to get out there, and I always like seeing different teams and being that's going to count towards something. I think that has value, and I think that kind of competition, that's what you need to see leading up to the playoffs.
Very good. Very good. So how are you getting to that 8 then?
We have to figure that out because between the 6 of our teams, we're taking 5, and then from the other 4 teams, they're taking 3. So we need to figure out our playoff system where one team's going to get eliminated and one team's going to get eliminated from their side of it, I guess you could say.
Okay.
And we talked about, well, then we're going to have a North Star League matchup, and somebody's got to play each other first round, and we're like, yep, that's just the way it is because we have 5 and they're going to have 3.
Right.
That's just the nature of the beast. So once all that gets sorted out, I think it's going to be a very competitive 8 teams once we get there. And it'll be interesting because there's going to be some lack of familiarity too, because not everybody's going to see each other throughout the summer, or maybe we're going to see Watkins and Cold Spring, we're not going to see St. Martin and Kimball. Well, we've seen Kimball in the past. They're tough, they're veteran, they know how to win. But the other 3 we're not as familiar with, and I think that's okay. I think that's good for competition, but it won't be easy.
Yeah, we mentioned that in one of our first episodes. There's some mystery involved, and you're maybe even with that exhibition game or that game you schedule early on, you might not be seeing their 1 or 2.
Right.
And that's where I think about a team like you mentioned Watkins, who has a pretty obvious number 1 out there.
Correct.
And if you're not seeing him, well then you're probably going to see him first round in that region. So definitely a lot of variability in those regular season games going into the region games. So a lot of, and it's happening all over the state. We're not unique. This is all over. I mean, on the seaside, we talked about it too. I didn't get any CVL teams scheduled, and
we didn't either, but I do know that some of the other teams in our league did, and we had the option to, and with scheduling and conflicts like that, sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't. But you're getting a different look at a team that any other year would have been, this is a non-league game, it doesn't mean as much, but now it does,
right?
And you get to see someone that you might run into down the road where the game really means something.
And I like that you do have a little bit of, I guess there's a little bit of weight to that game you mentioned. If you are scheduling a CVL team or St. Martin, it should be considered, because then yes, you're making games competitive.
Yeah.
And you are starting to see, okay, this is what this team brings to the table, and maybe more of what I can expect in the postseason. So I like that approach a lot.
And we're all for creativity. So I'm going to throw one at you. So I just got word, and I didn't just get word, because we had a Crow River Valley League meeting 2 Mondays ago, and since Mayor dropped out, the decision was made. Our district's going to be round robin style.
Really?
So the last game of the regular season, we are going to play Plato on a Friday, the end of July. That Sunday, the 6 seed and the 7 seed are going to play. The loser's done. The winner goes in as a 6 seed. We're going to go to Watertown. We're going to get put in 2 pools.
Okay.
And then we're going to get it down to 4. And then we're going to have 2 semis, a championship, and then the 3 seed game. So
Wow.
You had to completely scrap that 8-team bracket due to that team folding, correct?
I don't know if it was completely set. Our district commissioner is Jeff Lenz from Waconia. Jeff
Waconia
Lenz.
Jeff Lenz.
Waconia Jeff Lenz.
Is that his moniker, Waconia Jeff Lenz?
It has to be for reasons. And no, they I don't know if the idea was going to be a full 8-team district because there's only 8 teams in it, and just then kind of gets back to what Mike, you and I have had conversations years ago, and Chad Raish when he was in charge of Maple Lake, having conversations of, well, if you're the 1 seed and you play the 8 seed and they have to win as many as you have to win to get to the state tournament, what's the advantage of being the 1 seed? So I don't know if we were going to technically do it that way, but that would have been my guess. But now we're they'll just be more set games. You know who's playing, and I think that's also going to help out in that new Germany site though too, and maybe do some stagger starts where the B games, the matchups because it's pool play the first weekend, and then can kind of stagger some of the stuff in New Germany around that too.
So that, and I mean, I guess every section, region, whatever is different. Will that all count towards attendance then for the tournament, or do we not?
Oh, the pool play is the district tournament, is part of the district.
Gotcha.
So yes, so
Do you think that'll have a positive impact on attendance, maybe? Or I mean, it's a league where generally people show up anyway.
well,
But
I would say it would have a positive impact because your two teams coming out of each pool play will have played 2 games, and then they're guaranteed 2 more.
oh yeah,
So you have essentially you want the 4 best are all going to play 4 games.
yeah.
And that's kind of nice. I think
That'll
that
make for
does
good
help
baseball.
attendance. Good baseball and does help attendance,
Absolutely.
yes.
Do you know what the total game amount will end up being on your end with the round robin? I think we're now on the C on 6C. We're going to end up having 3 weekends of baseball, and it's going to be 16 games total, 4 in the first weekend and 12 in the next 2.
Yep, that's right.
So 16 games in our region.
So we'll have, if you do a round robin, that would be 10. If you include the 6 versus 7 seed game, that's 11.
Right.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah.
I think there's probably some sort of sweet spot of amount of games to have in your region or section. I mean, you don't want to have just like 6 games, but you also, I mean, you got 20 games.
Ugh.
I feel
Well,
like that would be-
we
Yeah.
talked about it how many times in our region 12C meetings, and nobody in this room was for kind of eliminating some of those not meaningless games, but the playbacks after everybody was already in state that 23
Yeah.
people are going to show up
Right.
to
I
type
think
of
the
thing.
worst.
I think I definitely was pushing for get rid of that last game. 'Cause
Yeah.
the 12 people there have already been there that day.
They've already been there that day, and then when kind of even bringing back the 2-3 seeds the next day, and it's just like, all
And
right,
your volunteers are exhausted.
right,
at
right,
that
right,
point.
yeah.
That's
Yep.
Yeah, if you can wrap it up on Saturday night for a championship and be done,
Oh yeah.
and then you can just polish off all the beer,
Right. If you cap
and you
it
don't have to go to work the next day.
Oh, boy.
that's,
Oh, yeah.
I think clutch.
for your site, that's going to be big too. I think we last year in Dassel, when you guys hosted the region, we had kind of a marathon day. We end on a seeding game. Everyone was just gassed. We do the draft afterwards. the excitement level had kind of, plateaued.
Right.
If you're doing that draft post championship game, I think that the crowd's into it.
People stick
More
around.
People
Yeah.
stick
Yeah.
around.
Well, and I think that's where, and we in our Region 6C, we've been tweaking with that to try to prevent that from happening where, you've got a dead crowd during the draft. We've tried to make that last day,
It's too bad somebody didn't have an idea last year to kind of change that around. I'm just going to throw that out there.
That's the thing where now that everything has been just thrown into the air and now it's reshuffled, people are more apt to make changes. It's like when we had the old 12C, everyone just kept saying, well, this is the way we've been doing it. Let's keep doing it. Why change something that's proven to work? And
even when you've got bold people like Ryan out there saying, we got to try something new.
Slamming his
the
hand on the
people going.
table, he
Yeah.
says, damn it.
The ideas I came up with were always how to increase attendance
Yep.
How dare
and make
you?
more money.
How dare you?
Yeah. How
Yeah.
dare you?
That's
That's
why,
change, Ryan.
I
that's
believe there
why
was
you,
a dinosaur comment thrown out last year too.
Yeah, and a table
I-
flipped over at the
There
Delano
was
Legion.
no tape. No, because I'm still welcome there. But there's somebody in the North Star League who might not be welcome there. That call us off air. That's a funny story. No, yeah, there was some comments last year I made at a North Star League meeting. But
I think we all backed it. It's just, once again, you get set in your ways, and a lot of guys are comfortable. They don't want to shake anything up, and that's just how it goes. Well, now, like we said, we have this big, realignment, and you've got more, I guess you call them progressive voices that are heard, and I think it's all beneficial. If it doesn't work, you can change, and that's kind of where we're at. We're in this era of let's see how it goes.
We don't need a congressional hearing to make these changes. It's just, this isn't a law. This is
Right.
We're going to try it, and there's some creativity and there's the communication. You have to talk to people, and you take a vote. You love it or you leave it, and we'll go from there. And then in 2026, maybe we'll be having a totally different conversation. Who knows?
Right.
But I think the creativity, where you're going to have your regions, or are you going to do two hosts? Or are you going to have one? Or how many weekends are you going to use? So there's no one way to do it, and everybody's district is a different size in terms of teams, and it doesn't. One format is not going to work for this district or that district. You have to get together, put some ideas on paper, and throw it out there, and don't be don't be shy about it.
Don't be shy. Credit Rob Moynick from Waverly bringing, I want to say, like 8 sheets of like craft paper to our last meeting, and he goes, "What do you think? What do you guys think about this and that and this and that?" And we're just like, "Whoa, okay." Let's try to focus on one thing at a time here. But ultimately, it was good. It was good to get ideas out there. We landed on what we agreed upon, and you get new leagues involved, and you kind of like, are you okay with this? Does this sound right? And then you come to an understanding, and you go forward. So, yeah, it seems like everybody, at least in this room, is in a good spot. We're all excited for regions and to see how it goes. So excited to get there, and obviously the state tournament. So, Ryan, you have any other points you want to throw out there?
so one question that you had asked our guest last week from Detroit Lakes that I just want to ask Mike about. I spent my 20 years in the North Star League, and where the rest of you are North Star League guys, but I don't think all of our listeners know everything there is to know about the North Star League like we do. So, Mike, who are a couple of hitters in your district, the North Star League B teams, from a hitting standpoint, that are pretty dangerous, and a couple of big arms that to keep an eye out for this summer?
Well, I think I'll start at Buffalo. I'll start with Cal James, left-handed power hitter who can hit to all fields. Guy loves the ball, and I think you talk to those guys, and he's a great teammate. I think last summer at the All-Star game, those Buffalo guys had a great time, which was fun to see.
They ramp it up. I
Yeah.
mean, and it's funny. I was at the All-Star game as a spectator. At a point in time, I looked out on the field, and I swear I saw an entire Buffalo lineup. at one time. They brought some representation
Yep.
to that game last year.
Yep.
Let's just say I play to win that game. So, yeah, Cal's pretty amazing. And then he talked to me into letting him pitch, and he made it seem like he threw gas. And Cal, you threw about 71 miles
Yep.
an hour.
Did he get
Lot of
credited
junk.
with a save? What
No,
was the
we,
final?
I don't think
we were
so.
winning by too much.
I think going back to arms too, Malachek's been doing it for a while now, and I think he's. And I always tell every time we face Maple Lake and we face Malachek, he's not coming out of the game. You have to knock him out. You have to find a way because he'll grind his way through 9 innings, and that makes him tricky because they still have enough in their lineup where they can chip away and maybe not pound it around like they used to, but you got to take him into account and kind of one of the up and coming guys I think too from again going back to Buffalo would be Sefker, who's playing some Division II ball out in South Carolina. We faced him late in the year. We didn't see him the first time. We saw him the second time. He's got a good mix of stuff, and he really keeps everybody off balance. And he was tough. He's tough to square up, I think.
Yeah, a lot of talent on that Buffalo roster for sure. Is there any sleeper rosters that we need to be aware of, or our listeners that maybe not are too attuned to our North Star League?
Sleeper rosters. Well, Loretto, because they could have when their full lineup is there. They're tough. It's a tough one to get through. I think you have to look a little bit at Hamill because I think they're a bit of an unknown.
No one knows anything.
And no one knows anything about them. You kind of you watch that ticker on the NBA website, and they've added people, and I don't know anything about those people, and so that'll be interesting to see what they bring to the table. We'll see them twice, and just kind of again I haven't seen Hamill since we were B back in probably the early 2000s, and it was the situation where they were always the 6th seed. Nobody ever played them, so we had the 5 B teams in the North Star League. And then, Hamill's just going to be the 6th seed, where they could probably be a 2 or a 3, but nobody knew anything about them.
And they'll go upset the 1.
Right.
Then.
Yeah.
It happened.
It happened. It happened more than once. And, that's a team. I'm sure they'll be talented. I don't think that's going to be any shortage of that, but very unknown for all of us in the league.
We've seen that with Loretto, too. I mean, it seems like that summer roster can have a lot of variance to it, but when they get into regions, they're bringing their squad, and they're annoying as hell to deal with.
Yeah.
We are 0-2 against the Larks as a 1 seed and them as an 8 seed.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That was in Litchfield. They fought through the play-ins and then beat you guys right away.
Yep.
Which,
Boy.
I mean, yeah, they're a tough team, and I think that says a lot about maybe the league or, but
Absolutely.
So, yeah, no, that's kind of what I wanted to touch on here with Townball questions. We do have the Twins home opener tomorrow, and since we spent like 45 seconds talking about the Wolves in our first episode, we should talk about the Twins for maybe 1 minute. It's still baseball. We don't want to jump all over pro sports. Home opener tomorrow. I'm going to just say they're going to finish third. Half of them are going to get hurt. It's just going to be the same old.
It's
half of them are.
People are going to
hurt.
pay attention simply to see if they get sold.
yeah.
Unfortunate. I mean,
A lot of rumors.
save your money and just come to Hutch or Dassel or Litchfield or Delano or any of the other 200 plus ballparks. Spend your $5 to get in and $3 for beer. It'll be a way better time. They're going to finish third.
We're not charging for parking yet. I don't know. Has Delano changed their stance on that?
We haven't found a parking person yet.
Attendant. Yes,
attendant.
right.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's still up in the air. Okay,
Your parking
great.
situation never disappoints because there's plenty of space. It's just a little bit of a walk, but who cares?
Right. We spent a lot of time when we were prepping for the 2023 state tournament, like, we got to have a parking lot committee. I'm like, we have the biggest parking lot.
Massive.
Well, you've got guys
And we
like-
have side streets. We have some galore. Like,
Yeah.
And they're all
Really?
connected with sidewalks.
Well, you got
Correct.
guys
Leading
like
right to the
Crash,
gates.
like Jeff Jansen. He's directing traffic out there, I'm sure, in the parking lot.
Jansen loves the dirt. He's a big traffic guy. Yep, he likes that.
He's out there waving flags.
Likes
and-
the power position.
Well,
You know,
yeah.
just pitcher, typical pitcher. Always got to be in charge.
But yeah, definitely a topic you don't think about that when you go into a state tournament. But parking is such a boost if you have good parking. I know when we played our game in Green Isle last year, it's a small town. I mean, there's not a parking lot paved that's can hold 300 vehicles. I mean, you're parking down the block and behind a church, and you're walking through alleyways to get there. But they made it work, and that's what matters. And some places are more blessed with parking and in that situation, but something definitely to to keep an eye on. These places will bend over backwards to make that work. Yeah. So, Hayes, have we reached? Has Kutter, has he done his job with us tonight? Did he do well
What else we got?
Well, do you want to stick around for the
Yeah.
really fun
You
stuff we
wanna-
do?
Absolutely.
The final
Okay.
segment. Okay.
So
well,
what we're gonna have Kutter join us for our Minnesota Mount Rushmore tonight. One of our most favorite segments here on the show. We have maybe 2 segments, and this is one of the favorites. So, Hayes, I'm gonna let you lead off with this. Kind of give him the rundown of what we're looking at. Kutter has no clue what he's doing, so give him some pointers.
So we're trying to avoid things that have already been done on social media. So Mount Rushmore this week, round 1 is going to be your favorite kind of dugout chirp and or like Little League dad saying from the dugout, because they're just awesome. And then round 2, we're going to go with like favorite baseball accessory, feature, or even like uniform style. And we're gonna put Kutter now on the spot. Jordan, it looks like you won the poll, unless some burners came through at the last minute. For me, I didn't get on.
I think Jordan actually, just so Cutter's not completely in the dark, let's have Jordan lead off because
All right.
he had a big
Because he's
win.
a leadoff hitter.
Yeah, he's a leadoff guy.
I'm not, but okay.
well, and he
lead
won
off
the
guy.
poll. He won the poll.
He won the poll. That means he can choose, but I think you're gonna lead off for us.
Well,
tonight.
number one, thank you to all of our fans out there that voted for me. I love the appreciation. This is my acceptance speech.
Congrats.
But yeah, dugout, chirp, chatter, Little League dad deal. Here's my favorite, and I'll give you some background on this. My favorite dugout chirp would be, quote, hasn't thrown a strike all day. And this has to be said after the first pitch of the game is for ball 1. So it's a bit unique. It's very, it's very specific, but it's definitely a tone setter. And I think if you set the tone this way, the other team's going to know, oh, God, these guys are going to be on my back all day. But because you're starting that hot, you have to back it up. So if you go with something that hot out of the gate, you're going to need to be on fire the whole game. You can't die out in the 4th, 5th inning because that's when the other team will get back to you.
Is that to where you set aside a specific person to say that chirp?
There are definitely, and you guys all know, there are certain people that you play against all year, and some are more level-headed than others on the mound. Pitchers in general are just weird dudes. I feel like I can say that being a pitcher, like we're weird. And sometimes stuff gets to you, some people more than others. So if you open with, this guy hasn't thrown a strike all day, ball 1. I feel like that's tough to come back from if you're generally a hot-headed guy.
Well, and if you've never heard that before,
no, the wheels are spinning.
You're going,
yeah.
what?
I've only. And if you say it and that guy turns to your dugout and goes, "Well, I've only thrown 1 pitch," you got him. You know at that
It's
point
game
it's
over.
over.
That's a rabbit ears right there.
Call it.
Yep.
Just call the game there.
So that would be my very specific dugout chirp. Feel free to use that one, but
Well,
but use it on the right guy. You know,
Yep.
That is electric. I really like that. That boy, what a start to our Mount Rushmore in the 1-1 spot with that pick. Kutter, I don't know. Can you follow that? That's the question.
Well, I'll go with kind of the classic little league dad because I'm in that world now with my own son, and the two kind of go hand in hand. It's just throw strikes, or just hit the mitt.
Oh boy,
Because what 10 or 11-year-old isn't trying to do that while they're out there?
elite coaching.
what pitcher in the world isn't trying
Yeah.
to throw strikes?
I want to say that I've been brought up and I've heard this at every level. I mean, it's crazy how that just is the coaching like default move. You get frustrated, you're in the dugout, and you go, "Why can't we throw strikes?" You toss that out there, just throw strikes.
It works.
Are you motivating anyone?
Yeah,
Are you motivating anyone? You know what you're doing? You're probably just pissing off your pitcher
Right.
at a certain point. So are you making the situation worse? Yeah, most likely. Most likely.
Yep. That's kind of my one, and then sort of piggybacking off of what Jordan had too is kind of an older one goes back to one of my friends when he pitched. He had said something. I think it was to the St. Michael dugout when they were notorious for clapping back, and he said something and turned around and says, the guy from St. Michael says, "Tuck those ears in, rabbit," and they just,
That's good.
and I was like, "Ooh, that's pretty good."
That
It's
is
tough to
really
come
good.
back from.
Absolutely. No, I like that a lot. A very strong. I didn't know if you'd be able to follow Jordan, but you absolutely did. That was a great pick. Hayes, do you want to be in the 3 spot?
Yeah,
or-
I can. And we were talking about these a few days ago, and I'm changing mine. I kind of changed it earlier today.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I talking to a pitcher on our team, Jake Gleason, good buddy of mine. He says that anytime a pitcher's jersey, or even a hitter's jersey, but it's the best when a pitcher's jersey becomes untucked. And Gleason, and then he'll get the rest of the dugout, and it's got to have a tuck. Need a tuck. It's great, like how he acts, like it's just giving him anxiety. Like, we need a tuck out there, and then we'll all get into it, and we'll sometimes get the umpire like, "Hey, I tucked the jersey," and we got Andrew Kemper from Loretto to set his glove on the ground, tuck his jersey in, and then kind of give us the, okay look. We kind of clapped. And he was great about it though. Like, he came over and BS with us after the game. He's like, "That was pretty good," but. Yeah, gotta have a tuck. And Gleason will just go full on, like it drives him nuts.
Fantastic.
He is very like type A too, and he's just like, the uniform is not right, so gotta have a tuck, guys.
These are all so good. I think it kind of maybe goes to show maybe how of a week of a trash talker / I don't know. I'm not yelling out the dugout, but I do have a good one. A college buddy of mine who's from Cold Spring, he played with the Springers, and his number one he would go to, and not only would he say this in a dugout, he would say this at parties just randomly, and we would repeat it. But if a fastball goes by a guy, strike 3, he'd throw out a Louisiana Bayou, and I swear that just became like regular verbiage throughout our college career, and I'm gonna stick with that. It's quick, it's harmless. No one's gonna get their feelings hurt over that. I mean, it's a little poke and prod, but
That's classic. I feel like, you said at party, it applies everywhere, I guess. I don't know.
it applies everywhere. That's good. Yeah, you want one that can have a far reach, and I think that I covered it there. No, I don't know. That one's just stuck with me. I still use it, and I still think about my teammate in college that just relentlessly used that no matter the situation. So I was the last pick in the first round, so now we have this snake draft reversal, and it's a whole nother topic that's kind of new to this Minnesota Mount Rushmore. And now we have gotten into favorite baseball accessory or clothing style,
Swag.
type.
yeah.
I mean, it's kind of it's a little bit vague. It's a broad subject, but My choice in this department in the second round here, my favorite accessory is almost a lack of accessory. It's the no batting gloves and just pine tar everywhere you can see on a guy. I grew up in watching a lot of Blues baseball. This was like the normal approach. I don't know if you ever seen like Jorge Posada for the Yankees when growing up in the 90s. This guy would go out there with just his bare mitts of hands, and he would just have, they had the black helmets, and you'll see it too. Some teams have light blue helmets, but one guy's wearing a brown helmet because of the pine tar, and I love that. I think that look is just classic, and it's just a no-nonsense approach. The guy is just a true ball player through and through. We're getting into this age of oven mitts and sliding accessories and pads on every part of the body when you're swinging. These are the type of guys that'll take 95 to the ribs and won't even wince.
You're going full on get off my lawn right now, and I love it.
And I kind of want a guy that, maybe he's batting the sixth spot, no gloves, pine tar all over the place. And you know what? Maybe after the game, he's not afraid to get in a fight in the parking lot too. So This is what I'm talking about. It's not so much an accessory, it's a lifestyle.
Oh, yeah.
So that's my choice. I had to bring it. I felt like that first round, I felt like I didn't bring it quite as well for you guys with the chatter, but I really wanted to bring it in that second round. Ryan, it's back to you.
Well, first of all, what color helmets did the Yankees have?
Oh.
Did I not say?
You said black, but I think I'm picking up what you're putting down here.
It's midnight blue.
Midnight blue.
Midnight,
I guess,
blue.
Technically.
When I see a Yankees
So
uniform,
how dare you?
When I see a Yankees uniform first, I gag, and then I don't think of this darkest blue you can put together. I think of just a black. That's just how I see it.
Well, there you go.
For you Yankees fans out there,
I love to pick on you.
For the Yankees fans out there, I will just say simply FTY.
Whoa.
That's all I have to say. That's all I have to say.
He's drawn a line in the sand.
The Yankees get me riled
picking up burner
The
accounts.
the Yankees absolutely get me going. If you want me to just get mad on the drop of a dime, we can start talking about the Yankees. That's just how it goes.
Now we know.
Yeah.
Well, Ryan, let's see if you can lighten the mood here.
I'm mad.
He's mad.
I'm going taped wrists. Taping up the wrists. When I was in high school, it's kind of the thing to do before a football game, and then it kind of trickled to baseball. When I was in college, a lot of my guys on the team, and I will include myself in that, were so stupid that we were like, we don't want to put pre-wrap and tape on our arms. We don't want the pre-wrap. So we just decided we're going to tape our wrists, but we didn't want the hair getting ripped up, so we're just like, let's just shave our arms. So me and the idiots at Grandview University in Des Moines, Iowa, we shaved the arms and then we'd tape our wrists with no pre-wrap. So, yeah.
It's commitment.
Man,
tough.
that is
Yeah.
commitment to the bit right there.
TUFF. That's tough.
Yep. And then, then you can kind of write message. I know when Bryce Harper was in high school and talked about he had the tape wrist, and I think he put the big cross on it. That was tough.
That is very
You can
tough.
personalize a little bit with that.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Away from, like if you're going to church on Sunday, you might have to answer some odd questions, but that's about it.
Well,
walking around with
Townball is, notorious for playing on Sunday right after church, so tape them up, go to church.
Tape them up before church, I
Yep,
guess.
so you're
Then
ready to go.
Put your cross on there and you're all set.
I wake up, the feet hit the ground, I'm ready to play ball, but you got to go to mass
That's
first.
You're
Correct.
putting a few bucks in the collection plate, and the person next to you is like, "What is that on your wrist?" And you're saying, "Well, it's a pregame and
It's a ritual.
before the game. It's a ritual. Yeah,
Yeah,
what it
you
is.
write the Bible, Austin 3:16 on there, right?
yeah.
Smoothest-
Just whooped your ass. I think
smoothest
that's
wrist
Austin
around.
3:16.
Yeah. Boy, all right. We are
All right.
now on to Kutter with your second round here.
My accessory is sunglasses because the way they have evolved over the years and years that players have worn them. You go back to the days of the flip up, like Griffey.
Oh yeah.
Ken Griffey Jr., the flip up, flip down.
Iconic.
And stuff like that where, and granted now, if you're playing at night, you don't need them obviously, but you see what they've turned into, the size of them. Everybody had to have the Oakleys, and Oakleys evolved and got bigger, the different shades, the different styles to, now I think it's hilarious when you watch the MLB players, they have them on their hat and it's a sunny day. It's like,
That's an accessory. That's why
Exactly.
this is
Wait,
cosmetics.
Are you guys trying to tell me that people sometimes will just bring sunglasses out there for the look
think-
and not to block the
I
sun?
think that's what they're doing. But I think sunglasses have, or shades, whatever you want to call them, have turned into just that, an accessory where, yeah, you're going to wear them on a sunny day, but man, they've gotten all different colors, styles, and I think that's just kind of a unique feature that they've turned into. And again, like I said, when as a kid watching Griffey play in an outdoor game, because otherwise they're in the Kingdome and he never wore them for Seattle, but on a road game, I mean, ball's coming, flip them down, catch a ball, flip them back up.
I know that you said you were involved in youth baseball, and you have the pleasure of coaching one of my nephews too, which is their whole thing. They've got their pit vipers now.
Oh man,
and I
they're
swear,
massive.
They're huge. They're absolutely huge. They're like shields on your face, and
especially on a youth ball player.
it
10,
is
11-year-old kids are like bug eyes on them.
Yes, you can get the sun out of your eyes, but you're also wearing a hat. You can find other ways, but it is just it's just a status move, I think, at this point. So
I'm not gonna rip any kid or adult either. Shades are sweet.
Shades are
They're
sweet.
cool.
Yeah,
Guilty.
I agree.
They're
Same.
awesome.
I want to see a concerted effort by someone this year to bring back like the Reggie Jackson Aviators.
Oh,
can
yeah.
we do that?
You have to probably carry like a Reggie bar in your back pocket. That's probably dating.
So funny that you bring that up, because New York Yankee manager Aaron Boone would often wear aviators last year.
In the dugout?
Absolutely.
Just say it, John. You
okay.
love the Yankees. Just say it.
At this point, I retract everything I've ever said.
That Litchfield blue hat is midnight blue.
No, it is navy. It is absolutely navy.
It's Optimus
Don't get
blue.
me confused. We'll never wear the pinstripes. I know Jordan has pinstripes. I'm never going to wear pinstripes.
That's all right. That's all right. I don't take any offense to that. That's fine.
But yeah, great choice on the glasses. Just an iconic accessory. Jordan, you are wrapping this up. You are wrapping up the Minnesota Mount Rushmore.
I'm making big moves to wrap this up here, I think.
Oh, man.
I think they're big moves. I don't know. I'm gonna go. Okay. Well, first of all, John, you're not a Yankees guy, but you do like another AL East team. You're an O's guy. You like the Orioles.
I've become a huge Orioles fan, and maybe it is because my disdain for the Yankees, but yes, I've become a very big Orioles fan.
So you're very familiar with Gunnar Henderson, Adley Rutschman. You like these guys.
They're all good kids. They all look like they came from the same frat.
Let me tell you what these baby birds are bringing to the table as far as accessories go. And this hits home for me because this is a throwback. But let me tell you, when I say they're so back, these accessories are so back. Fighting necklaces. Fighting necklaces is what I'm going to go with here for the accessory. Like I said, Gunnar and Adley, they're wearing them. I've seen them wear them now through spring training and into the early part of the season here. But they're wearing them. For those who don't know, and I guess necklaces themselves have kind of, like the sunglasses, they've got a makeover here. Mm-hmm. Maybe someone wears a necklace to play. Now you've got to have lots of chains. Big ones, the Cuban links, they got to be sweet. Fighting necklaces are, I don't know, they're just like rope. What would you like? What are they made of? They're rope with a little like
titanium in them,
like buckle in the front.
Yep, it's a clip
filled with titanium, and they will claim, and I don't know how true this claim is, but they'll claim that it balances your center.
Yeah,
and when you're out there wearing your fighting necklace, your balance is the same. And I guess I can throw this in the grouping here: fighting necklaces / power balance bracelets, if you remember those. Mm-hmm. But they're back, and I think you're gonna see kids all over wearing these again. So they're going to get a little taste of, what it was like to be cool for us when we were in college or around that age.
Well, it's a scientific fact that Tommy John surgeries went way up when the fighting necklaces kind of went away. It's a scientific fact.
All you pitchers out there, start wearing fighting necklaces, and your arm's going to feel
We need
good.
We need to investigate
That year will get cut down to 11 months, you think? Instead of a full year out, it'll be down to like 11 months?
I think the
instead of that?
titanium in these necklaces, they cut a year off your recovery time. And if you're, trying to come back, throw a necklace on, clip it up or
There
whatever.
was wasn't there like a Brett Favre endorsed core power?
No,
Yeah,
copper sleeve, bro. Come on.
Yeah.
Copper,
Don't act like you're above it.
I'm just saying you got it's like there's these snake oil salesmen. They're saying
I can think of, and these are, I would say, like early 2000s ball players, Major League Baseball players that I loved watching that I noticed would wear the fight necklaces. Verlander was a guy that would always wear one, and his had flames, so
Yeah.
that's pretty cool.
right.
C.J. Wilson, pitcher, he used to wear one, and it was the double fighting that you would
Oh, man.
intertwine.
So cool.
Maybe there were triples. I don't know. I think the more you can wrap around your neck, the better you'll play, probably.
Yeah. There has to be an advantage. I think you mentioned more modern day players. I think of Alex Verdugo, former Yankee. Started all year last year, hardly could find a job. So that's just another reason why. I mean, just a trash player on a trash roster last year. So he would wear like an absolute monster chain.
Yeah.
Running around first base, rounding to go to two, chain was just flying everywhere. It's like, at what point is this? It's just a cosmetic thing, but it can actually hinder what you're doing on the field.
Well, I feel like, and I don't know if he's considered a fast or slow guy by Major League standards, but as a slow guy myself, I'm not trying to weigh myself down with anything giant. I don't know.
Yes, that's a good point. We don't need any extra weight on the cleats. So, great pick, great pick. That's going to conclude. We're just going to do our 2 rounds tonight, but some electric stuff. Hayes, I'm going to kick it to you if you have anything you want to wrap up, but I'll let you kind of do that little outro for us. If you like.
No, I don't, and nothing else. We covered a lot of great topics. Thank you for being here, Mike Kutter, manager of the Hutchinson Huskies, and that's going to conclude our podcast for the week. And here's to warmer and sunny weather.